Alright, here we go. Here's three different aluminum intake manifolds for the small block Chevy. On the left is the Edelbrock Performer. In the middle, I have a 1965 L79 327 intake. And on the right, I've got the Edelbrock Performer RPM Q-Jet. Now, I'm going to run one of these on my Chevelle this summer. I'm going to pull off the Holley intake that's on there. I'll discuss that later, but anyway, these are all good options if you want aluminum intake. I have a ton of cast iron intakes, which are good also, but they're heavy. So, and the goal is to make the car faster, not slower. So anyway, the reason I'm making this video is actually not because of the intake so much, but because of thermostat housings. So on the left, I have an original L79 or 302 Chevy thermostat housing. It's a heavy cast iron piece. It's an oddball shape. It's hard to find. That's a GM one. If you do find one on eBay, they go for, I don't know, 80 or 100 bucks. It's kind of ridiculous. In the middle, I have an OEM aluminum 50s or early 60s thermostat housing. And then on the right, I have a brand new replica of that L79 302 thermostat housing. And I bought that one from Rock Auto. It's made by Dorman, and it's a pretty close replica to that factory oddball thermostat housing. It's lighter. It's some sort of aluminum alloy, which is nice. And obviously it's missing the GM part number, so it's not going to work for your, show car restoration. But if you're just trying to fool the casual observer, that's a good option. And then in front of these manifolds here, on the left I have GM 70s aluminum thermostat housing, and then on the right I have a brand new repop. It's a Four Seasons brand, some sort of die cast metal. I don't know what it is. It's light. It's some sort of aluminum alloy, I assume. And that one on the right, the reason I bought that one, it has the little tab on the driver's side for a carburetor return spring, which I really like to have. The reason I'm showing all of this, on my 68 Chevelle, the upper radiator hose goes to the driver's side. So all of these options would do that. Some of the earlier cars, the upper radiator hose went right to the middle in the radiator, and so you'd use that thermostat housing in the middle on a different intake, like on the Edelbrock intakes. That would be perfect. But anyway, I need it pointing off to the driver's side, and all of these will accomplish this. But I'm going to shift things around here real quick because not all of these will work depending on which manifold I use. This factory one right here, for example, will not work on the RPM Q-Jet. It actually hits the runner here. You can't really see. So if I run that manifold, I cannot run this one. It would work on the Performer though. And this aftermarket one, it does manage to clear the runner, which is awesome. This is probably the setup I'm going to run if hood clearance and everything else works. This L79 intake is awesome, but I am pretty sure the RPM here is going to outperform it. So this setup would work for my radiator hose. I did a similar thing with the dual quadrajets when I had it on the car. I used a repop of one of these, and it worked fine for the radiator hose. If I was running a intake without the oil filled tube, this is what I would run. This comes awfully close to the oil. This would be the correct part for this car, but it's awful close to that oil fill tube on this particular manifold. This will work on the stock iron Q-Jet manifold, and there's the tab for the return spring. This is a slightly later model. It's the same shape, but it is missing the tab for the return spring. No big deal. but I do like that tab, and I use it if it's available. So anyway, this is kind of a quick rundown of options you have to point your radiator hose in different directions. So hope that's helpful to somebody, and thanks for watching, guys.